Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the eCommerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place of AI related to Amazon, FBA, parallel, and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring another special guest. His name is Daniel, and he's the founder and CEO of Insense.pro, which is one of the top solutions out there when it comes to finding the UGC that your brand needs to get scale on Amazon and e-commerce in general. And we know social commerce, influencer marketing, UGC is something that's being more and more a topic in the last couple of months because let's be honest, the days of only relying on traffic within Amazon and PPC are getting tougher and tougher. And you really now need to focus on building a real brand. And that's what at Insense they specialize on. So it's a pleasure to have you on the show, Daniel. Thank you so much for coming. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great, and thanks so much for having me. I'm excited about jamming around everything that's related for creator marketing and Amazon.
Yes, let's have a very insightful conversation. I know you have a lot of background when it comes to that and experience, so I'm super excited. But before we dive into that, just give us a quick intro by yourself for those that might not know you, so people can essentially understand who is our guest and how we can get some knowledge out of you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Danny. I'm CEO, co-founder of Insense. Have been founded Insense 8 years ago together with my brother, and because of my brother, who led a couple of e-commerce shops, successfully exited
Cool.
both, and then founded his social media boutique agency. When back in the days, he realized that influencers is going to be impact the most in paid advertising, right? What that wasn't that clear because that was two different worlds of
Yeah, yeah.
influencer marketing and paid social. We started building a marketplace together, and right now we are serving primarily e-commerce brands, D2C, and Amazon sellers, where we connected with 50,000 vetted creators on our marketplace. Yeah, that's something that what we have built. I'm based in New York City, though. Like right now, we're recording. I'm not in New York City. I'm in Serbia. So yeah, immigrant founder, passionate about e-commerce creators and how to connect them all together.
Love it, love it. So, Danny, with that background, the first question that comes to my mind is like, why you think, you using UGC and influencer marketing is such an important thing? Because the fact that you have invested so many years of your life in such an amazing project is because you definitely have a huge belief into, this bringing a lot of impact to e-commerce business. So let's start with the foundation of why do you think like brands should be focusing on having this level of exposure? Because some people is resistive to it or some people don't really understand why they should be doing it. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything started with my brother, like the story of owning
Okay.
Incense, right? When we just realized that people consume content created by people. We
Yes.
want to share, we want to hear stories. We want to be related to someone. So that's why there is a rise of influencers,
Hmm.
and there is a data showcasing that, for instance, like TikTok viewers in the US tend to discover product first.
Exactly.
That's kind of like the experience. Though at the same time, they go to Amazon and search for it, and then make a purchase. There is like a data behind that, and I think this is one of the most powerful way how to uh, find a new audience, because like Amazon, it's fascinating platform, right? One of the best, like in the space, the best in this space, to be honest, like
Yeah.
in this particular thing. But though, like, people are not really going there for discovery purpose. Some of them, they will go there, though, like, it's not kind of like the experience. You're going there with a certain idea of
Hmm.
what you need, though, like, you can continue exploring, which just makes sense. Though you need to find those people who are interested in that space. And then for instance, like TikTok users who discover products on the platform were 2.5 times more likely to make a purchase on Amazon. There is a data by Helm 10, right?
Yeah.
And it's a comparison with those users who didn't engage with the TikTok. So
Exactly.
it's so powerful. And then at the same time, like TikTok users who discover the products on the platform, right? Who are there? How they can know about that? Because of creators, because of the influencers, because of the content that they entertained with. So that's why we truly believe that it's so connected right now between the different platforms, even though like they just announced the integration between the platforms, right? So
Yeah.
it was like years of people who are discovering the products there, though, like going to the Amazon. So right now it's
Yes.
luckily it's a way faster and way better. And you can speak about this announcement because you've been at the Accelerate just
Yeah.
a week ago.
Yes, I agree. Just to make a quick parenthesis there, yeah, that announcement was actually super surprising to us because we never thought that Amazon would basically make alliances with what we think was their main kind of uh, competitor, right? And yes, they just announced that now effectively you can use inventory within Amazon to fulfill orders in TikTok, and now that essentially highlights more than ever the importance of using social commerce, because just as you're saying, like TikTok and influencer marketing allows you to sometimes nurture and tap into audiences that you wouldn't do otherwise if you only say on Amazon, and especially with products that require sometimes educating the market, right? Because maybe it's a unique gadget, has a unique feature that nobody's even know exists. I think having that engaging content and creating that wow effect creates then the snowball effect on Amazon, which is, I guess, a lot of the reasons why people use the influencer within your platform, right?
Yeah, because there is a definite correlation between like halo effect, and there are like some case studies around that. So you see the spikes when you're doing the activation with TikTok, or randomly some TikTok influencer just out of the love featured your product, and you see the spikes that is happening on your Amazon websites out of nowhere. And then there were, if you like case studies, and right now it's becoming like a trendy thing, right? You can see like, okay, that was the engagement here, and then the spike is following in the next couple of days, or like 7 days window. So that's kind of like, it's already proven the point. So you can tap into the audience that you cannot find on Amazon, or target them on
Hmm.
Amazon, because they're not spending enough time to uh, to capture them. So that's why
Yes.
it's fascinating to hear that they finally announced this partnership, even though like TikTok with TikTok Shop right now is stepping into the game like in direct competition with Amazon, right?
Yes, that's correct. Now, I think when people start exploring this option of using influencer marketing, some of the things I encounter that people have a big challenge with is really understanding how to quantify essentially the efforts they have to put into it and how to actually measure success. What I mean by that is, if you never done influencer marketing before, UGC, it's like, how do you know it's actually working, right? Because there are so many metrics that you can track. It could be impressions, it could be a market share exposure, so many X, Y, and Z. So what I'm trying to ask you here is, for somebody that's never done influencer marketing before, how do you go about understanding, first of all, how deep you have to go with it in terms of investment? And then what are some of the things you actually measure to define if this is going to be actually bringing success or not to your brand? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question, and whenever I hear that, I'm always asking potential customers or other people, like, what is the objective that you're trying to achieve? Is your objective is a conversions or brand awareness? Because you
Yeah.
know what, even though like we all love conversions in e-commerce, like because that's the actual sales that is actually making money and profits.
Yeah.
Though at the same time, like without brand awareness, like to be honest, it's also really hard to win. So you need to invest there. So I think the one of the most powerful thing of influencer marketing that you can get both. It
Mm,
could be brand awareness campaigns. You can start chatting about your product, and whenever it's going to be hyped and trendy, like
yeah.
some of the content is going to be performed like really well organically, you can see the spikes that will impact on the conversions on Amazon directly. But at the same time, what you can do, you can also work with influencers on the conversions, signing
Mm,
them as the affiliates. In that case, if they get incentivized to drive the sales. That's actually one of the most powerful thing on TikTok Shop,
mm,
right? This is the purely affiliate marketing game spiced with the paid social. So I think like
exactly.
you can do also with Amazon. So that's why it really depends on the objectives, right? But the way how you can analyze, let's say, like brand awareness, is the number of reach the audience that you have been achieved, right? And also potential correlation with the spikes in the sales, as
Nice.
we were just talking about the halo effect, right? This is the
Hmm.
easiest way. Though, like when it comes to the conversions, obviously it's a number of sales and what is the GMV that those TikTokers actually drove to your
Hmm.
Amazon seller using the link. So though both options are the best ways how to understand like whether it makes sense for you to invest in or not. At the same time, you don't need a lot of budget to start working with influencers. You can start with the product seeding campaigns. It's kind of like a no strings attached way of finding the people who will genuinely love your product. You send, let's say, 100 gifted boxes to 100
Mhm.
influencers, and only 15, 20 of them will actually produce some content and post something publicly, which is
Exactly.
actually a good result. And the approach that you didn't lose money on those 80 who didn't deliver
Mhm.
anything, though you actually paid with the 100 boxes to get
Exactly.
content and to get attention and interest of those people who have not been paid, though you can continue building relations with them, convert them as ambassadors, affiliates, or working with them on a paid meaning, because for whatever reason they loved your product and they were ready to shout out about your product. So that's the way how measure that and how to start if you don't have budget to pay
Yeah.
influencers upfront.
Yeah, I think that that's actually very good that you highlight that methodology, because a lot of the barrier of doing this approach is, people don't have big budgets to pay, big influencers and all of that. And that's why they get scared about moving forward. But yeah, you described that very easy in terms of, it's going to take time. You need to get a lot of interaction back and forth with these influencers. By the end of the day, you have two currencies. Either you don't have the money, you have your time, right? So put the effort and just try to create those connections. And I feel something you highlighted throughout your explanation as well, very well, is that you were essentially explaining how this is an approach where everything that has to do with doing the influencer marketing of things is heavily also related to the efforts, right? In terms
Yeah.
that this is going to take time. It's not going to be a make money quick scheme, which is where I think people get burned with influencer marketing. They think that because they spend $5,000 on an influencer, that's going to be the savior of their business. It's nothing like that. It's like you're planting seeds, as you say, and that's going to create the awareness effect. And yeah, I think that's a key thing for people to understand. It's not like it's not something you see results straight away. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly seeing that some of the bigger brands working with the influencers doesn't mean that you have to do and following their steps, because they have experience, they have a dedicated team for that, they have experienced team in there, and they have budgets to execute. But you can start small.
Yeah, that's right. Now, in terms of identifying these influencers, another question I get is how you find the right influencer for your business. Because at the end of the day, there's so many type of influencer, people that do more like blogging style, people do more unboxing experience, comparison videos. Like there's so many dynamics that some of these influencers have throughout their content. And let's be honest, for certain type of categories, some are better than others in terms of the level of engagement you can get out of that. So how you go about what level of, first of all, type of content you want to do, like how you try to identify that, and second of all, how do you define the avatar, like how I want only people within this age range, this gender, this location, for whatever XY reason, because I think that's what really communicates better to my brand. Yeah.
Yeah, I will start answer with from the second question,
Hmm.
because it's really interesting. And I recently chat with Charlie at the
Yeah.
his podcast, Charlie Tisharon.
Yeah, yeah.
He's more like a meta guy and D2C rather than Amazon, but still he was using Insense for 6 years, right? And then he was using Insense from a really interesting angle, because he's a really smart marketer. So he was saying that, oh, I'm not paying creators to only get the content published organically or getting the content to use in my feed. Though I also whenever I'm have a new hypothesis, I can pay to the creators and test the waters and test like what is the kind of the face, what is the idea of this person, what is the personality that I'm trying to look for, and then he can hire 20 creators to find out this. So he's basically paying for the market research on
Hmm.
ideal creator profile for his brand, because you can assume that oh, my product is for women and only women should talk about this product, and you would
Exactly.
surprise sometimes it could
Hmm.
be not women, that's kind of stuff. So you can have a lot of assumptions, and you can approach creators as a market research by hiring like five, 25, 35 years old women in doing sports,
Hmm.
five 30, 40 plus women doing beauty, that's kind of like the assumptions that you can test and learn and see like what actually resonates the most, and then like what kind of the content they are able to produce, whether it resonates with me, and more importantly with my audience, am I trusting that? Like, is it like
Hmm.
a right one? And it would surprise sometimes something that you truly believe that this audience should be outperformed like really well. It might
Yeah.
be not, right? So
Yes.
this is the best way is like by hiring like some smaller segments and testing out with the different creators and finding the ones who are working
Yeah.
really well for you.
Cool.
Though when it comes to just general research, definitely you should be care about the creator themselves, where they're located,
Hmm.
what kind of the categories they are working on, what is the social demo, kind of
Yes.
like age, gender. So that's kind of like something that you need to put in one place. Though, like the second one is the audience. Just a minute,
Okay.
just understand like whether they have audience that you are trying to target with your product or not. So those like two best ways how to start your search.
Hmm.
Though really important thing is again asking a creator to provide some branded content portfolio, so content that they
Nice.
produce for different brands, especially in your category or in your segment, just to making sure like and hear like whether you truly believe when they are saying something in front of the
Hmm.
camera or not, because seeing the profile is cool, but seeing the branded content portfolio is really important to understand whether it's going to be resonate or not with you and with your audience. So this is the uh, first steps to find the best creators. And obviously for us, it's going to be make sense to see the reviews or ranking of this person, just understand like, okay, maybe the person is great
Yeah.
from every single data point, though the problem that this person is so slow in response or not reliable to
Yes.
deliver the content. So that's why using companies like Insense, like marketplaces, that's also can you provide the intel whether this person like delivered 100 jobs
Exactly.
and they're ranking like 4.9, which is like wow, like
Mm-hmm.
really awesome, right? Compared with some person that you can find on Twitter, though like you have no idea like whether this creator is
Mm.
actually going to be delivered this content, maybe they're going to be disappeared with your product. So that would be my recommendation, asking for the branded content portfolio in advance and ask them to record some video, just understand like whether it's something resonates with you or not.
Cool. And I guess a question I get a lot as well is what kind of platforms usually tend to convey a better level of engagement. What do I mean by that? I mean, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have TikTok. Um, Pinterest. So sometimes people, of course, we already talked about the type of influencer in terms of the piece of content and everything, but reality is also the platform is important because the behavior people may have in Facebook is completely different than TikTok, right? So for your experience, effectively for those that are looking to create the biggest impact into the e-commerce exposure in terms of marketplaces such as Amazon, have you identified some kind of pattern that you say this is actually the platform where I see working the best? Like, would you say that's TikTok right now or Instagram? What is your take? Yeah.
It's interesting question. I would say when it comes to ads, like paid social
Mm-hmm.
ads that you're running
Yeah.
on Meta platforms or TikTok, I would say the best destination is going to be like more Instagram
Mm-hmm.
influencers, because
Okay.
they know how to produce content and so on. But when it comes to organic and driving organic traffic to Amazon product pages
Yeah.
and then spark this in ads on TikTok,
Exactly.
then I would say it's definitely TikTok, because
Hmm.
in that case it's way better resonate with the audience, and they tend to be ready to go to other platform and explore that. There is a proven point. When we're
Mm-hmm.
starting observing some of our Amazon sellers, they testing this with Instagram,
Yeah.
it's less success. You still can do that. You still can
Mm-hmm.
tap in some of the new audience that you cannot find them on TikTok. Though at the same time, like it's not going to be that hyped as it is on TikTok. The beauty of TikTok is that sometimes the content, like one of 100 content, is going to be having a few millions of views,
Mm-hmm.
and people starting searching you like immediately. Like
Mm.
it's a bit of gamble, but at the same time, like it's worth that, because you cannot buy this traffic for that cheap, comparing with
Hmm.
paying 100 micro influencers. Like you cannot, and having
Yeah,
the millions of views. So I would say, yeah, TikTok is going to be the most resonating for Amazon first sellers, and
cool,
D2C, it's more about Instagrammers.
cool. Now, in terms of also the level of engagement, when you're working with influencers, I also get the question of, from a strategic point of view and really building a connection, if it's better to always stay with the same influencers and create a repetitive behavior, and therefore create that warm kind of feeling among their audience. Because at the end of the day, if the audience of an influencer sees you only once, the impact is significantly like diluted compared to if you do it like over a period of time, because they see you constantly, and they create a link between that influencer and the brand, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you prefer an approach where you select your top 10 20 influencers and you keep working with them on a consistent basis, or you're more the type of mindset that you think, you know what, I'm always going to try new influencers every single time I do a campaign, because that allows me to find more hidden gems? Like, what is your take on that?
My take is something in between. So,
Mhm.
having to work with only 10 creators, you're going to be eating their audience really quick. Like if they're
Mhm.
going to be constantly doing something, they might be ambassadors, which is cool,
Mhm.
because in that case, it's you're starting building more like a
Mhm.
community vibes
Yes,
around your brand and
exactly.
so on. This is like makes sense, but I wouldn't stick with 10 or 20 or even 50 micro influencers to constantly using them, because you're going to be eating their audience like really quick, and people are not going to be reacted that well as it was at the beginning. The same way, you don't need to work with only new influencers and only new faces. I would say stick somewhere in between. And my suggestion is coming from our experience with a TikTok shop, because we're
Mhm.
also official partners of TikTok shop.
Mhm.
So you might explore working with influencers, but not for a one-off campaign. So trying to negotiate with them, having two, three publications within the one deal. So in that case, you're not kind of like working with the same people, but you're not working with only new faces for one publication, and whether it's going to be working or not. So trying to work and get like two, three posts. So in the first post, they can warm up. They can introduce the product that they actually using. They're not going to be claiming, yeah, go and check it out on Amazon. Like, no, just like, I have a problem with my skin acne, like, and then I found this solution. It's really cool. Let me test that, and then I'll come back in a week or like in month,
Okay.
right? So, and then they are doing like in 1 week or 1 month, the second post are like, hey guys, like here's like before after, it actually works, it's great, here's my link, check it out, their product, let's go. And third post could be also something resonates about that. So in that case, you kind of like finding the middle ground, how you can build the relations with the people, but not using them like only the same people and eating their audience.
Okay, good. Now, I guess to start bringing a closure, something I would like to pick your brain into is, what are some of the main mistakes people do when doing influencer marketing, and what are some of the best practices beyond the one we just discussed? You think people should be aware? So, I guess let's start with the mistakes, because I'm sure you have identified a lot of mistakes people do. Like, what are some of maybe the top two or three things people keep doing that you say, wow, that's one of the reasons because influencer marketing is not working for them?
One of them, it's copy pasting the strategy that other brands is using.
Okay.
Like every single of you're unique. You have unique business, and it's I believe Vincenzo, like running the
Mhm.
Amazon first agency, is if I'll go to my friend Mina,
Mhm.
and then asking him like about just gonna compare this agency, it's not gonna be similar,
It's
though
different.
like a similar space. So we are all different. So that's why just a copy pasting this strategy doesn't bring you to the next level. So you need to explore, and then you need to find your own way. This is number one. The second one is that many of marketers, they heard that, oh, with influencers this brand were able to reach 1 million new GMV. I'm going
Mhm.
to be starting working with any influencers using like any software or myself, and then we're going to be immediately getting to 1 mil of GMV. No, you won't. Simple answer,
Mhm.
you won't. And the reason what, because you need to also to find your own strategy, how to approach the influencers, what kind of the influencers. And it's a long run. It's not a short-term game, meaning
Yeah.
that you need to invest there. You cannot work with influencers for a couple of months or 3 months and say like,
Exactly. Mm,
influencers don't work for my business. Like this is
mhm.
like something that I'm seeing like a customer joining our
A lot.
platform and saying, influencers don't work for me. I
Yeah,
tried,
yeah,
like I hired 50,
yeah.
50 influencers, see them like my product, and then I haven't seen like any progress in my sales.
Yeah.
Well, 50
Yeah.
influencers is just a starter.
It's
It's
nothing.
like it's a market, it's your market research. You just invested in understanding like what kind of the profile you want. If you would expect it that it's going to be positive ROI, unfortunately, my news like you won't.
Mhm.
Though at the same time, like whether it makes sense or when you're going to be deciding to go with the influencers, can you build a positive ROI channel? Yes, you can. Is it going to be depending on the all shifts for the social platforms or Amazon strategy? Yes,
Mhm.
it will, because it's not that connected, and it's not going to be connected with increasing prices of PPC or paid social. Like it's something that you can also drive organically. So that's why it makes sense to invest there. But do not expect that you will get a positive ROI right away because you master. You can do so only in one case, that you already had experience at different brand, at different organization. So in that case, it makes sense to bring someone with that experience to expect the results way faster than
Yeah.
if you're just starting here.
Cool. That's very good, actually. Yeah. And I guess on the positive side, like, what are some of the, like, one of some of the top two, three things that you say this is a good practice? People shouldn't stop doing this. Yeah.
Should stop doing this.
Or should keep doing, like, in like
Should
this is
keep
a
doing.
must.
Got it.
Like this is a
Got it.
must in the sense
Yeah.
that you need to make sure that's part of your SAP, because otherwise it will lead things sideways, you know.
Yeah, let me give 4 tips,
Yeah.
especially for Amazon sellers who are looking to drive traffic from TikTok to Amazon. Just be like the most practical one.
Yeah.
So the really first one is to ask TikTok influencers to create videos that show your product USPs, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Educate viewers on how to find the products on Amazon. Do not ask influencers to put to click a link in bio as a call to action. Instead,
Okay.
ask creators to encourage viewers to go to Amazon and search for your product. So it
Cool.
will increase external traffic to your product page, which is Amazon search engine ranking will appreciate the most, right? That's what we
Hmm.
also need. And that's one of the hidden agenda here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like number one. Ask TikTok influencers to create videos that show your product USPs and ask them to go to product page. Second one, which is applied across the all influencers. Write detailed briefs for influencers.
Mm.
Literally, 50% of your success is a well-written brief. As simple as it is. So B-roll of typing your brand product name on Amazon search bar. Create this like image of me as the TikTok user seeing
Yeah.
this influencer post. Oh, this influencer found this on Amazon. I should check it out because I found that I know like this cookware is something that I need. Like that's kind of like a step that it so makes sense and resonate, like, and always provide like your brand guidelines, USPs of the products, because remember that creators are not marketers. It's your job to provide them in a good.
Awesome.
This is the second one. The third one, influencer marketing have been shifted from being just organic or just paid. So right now it's organic plus paid. That's the only
Hmm.
way how truly win the whole thing. And moreover, like that's the reason why TikTok Shop is so successful right now. So paid ads on TikTok is a path to predictability and scalability and revenue growth. So that's why once you see that influencer content that had been published organically have high number of views and generated sales, launch Spark Ads. Spark Ads is the whitelisted connections to the content. So in that case, you can own the content and it still will be coming from the influencer, though it's going to be your media buying media dollars to boost that. So in that case, it's going to be increasing that and the sales. Though the hidden agenda here again, Amazon's still going to be reviewed that as the external organic traffic,
Hmm.
which is
That's right.
beauty of us, right? And the last one, it's 1 week window attribution. So prepare to track performance differently from what you have done until today. because again, remember the way how we're creating the content for TikTok. We're saying like, hey, influencer, can you type in this that you are looking for my product in your
Hmm.
video, right? So in that case, you would expect that those people who saw the post will go to Amazon at certain point, maybe not right away, maybe in a week,
Yep.
to purchase the product, right? And making sure. So that's why like there is a 1 week window attribution that it makes sense to see like, okay, I invested in my marketing campaign with
Hmm.
TikTok influencers, and then within the week, have they drove like a spike in my Amazon sales or not? This is like something that it makes sense to understand, and then also check your Amazon analytics, unique visits, keyword search increased, and it could correlate and talk to you that actually this strategy work for you or not.
Awesome, Daniel. So, wow, thank you so much for all the knowledge. It was very well explained and detailed. So, I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. And, for those that might want to, reach out to you or with your company, how people can find you.
They can find us on our website, which is insense.pro,
So, I'm going to
insense
put the link
dot
down in
pro.
the description
Yes.
for people to
And
find them.
moreover, for people who find it, like because we're friends with Vincenzo, so
Mhm.
you will get $200
Wow.
for your first creator marketing budget once you subscribe with us. So like it's a benefit for
Thank
all of
you.
us and because of our relations. Because we want really to test out our platform and see that you can get the value. But you can also follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn. It's my name, Danil Saliukov. I'm trying to share all knowledge that I'm
Yeah.
getting from creator marketing e-commerce for both Amazon world
Yeah.
and D2C world. So like, feel free to reach out me on DMs. I'm trying to be responsive. I'm trying to help with
Yeah.
different things. But yeah, LinkedIn and Twitter.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny. It's a pleasure. And I can't wait to see you soon. Yeah. Have a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
likewise.
Take care, bro.
Cheers.
See ya. Bye bye.
Bye.